Excuse me. Article 7. Be it resolved by the citizens of Millbury, Massachusetts, concurring therein. Section 1. Citizens of Millbury, Massachusetts petition the Senate and House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to pass the resolution of the General Court respectfully urging Congress to enact H.R. 129, the Return to Prudent Banking Act of 2013. Section 2. The citizens of Millbury, Massachusetts petition the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America to enact H.R. 129, the Return to Prudent Banking Act of 2013, which is pending before the 113th Congress to reinstate the restrictions the Banking Act of 1933, commonly referred to as the Glass-Steagall Act, which prohibited commercial banks and bank holding companies from investing in stocks, underwriting securities, or investing in or acting as guarantors in derivative transactions in order to prevent American taxpayers from again being called upon to fund hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out financial institutions. Section 3, the Town Clerk of Millbury, Massachusetts will send a duly certified copy of this citizen's resolution to the President of the United States, the United States Senate Majority Leader, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and each member of the Massachusetts Congressional District, and also to Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the President of the Senate for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Speaker of the House of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and each member representing the town of Millbury in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Senate and representative delegation.
Recommend Article 7 be indefinitely postponed.
Mr. Hudson, do you care to speak?
My name is Terry Burke Dotson, and I live at 20 Salo Terrace. Glass-Steagall was one of the tools that Franklin Delano Roosevelt used to get us out of the Great Depression. It regulated and separated the financial services of commercial banks from investment banks, and it stabilized our economy. Commercial banks were like the mom and pop banks here in Millbury. They prospered by making secured loans with the depositor's money, and they were protected by the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. This secured credit built the massive projects like the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. It built dams, and it created jobs. Under Glass-Steagall also, investment banks, which is where most of us put our retirement money, hoping that we'll make a big killing before we have to stop working, these investment banks were still risk takers and gambled with the depositor's money in stocks, securities, insurances, derivatives, etc., but they were not protected by the FDIC. These investment banks were allowed to gamble, but they had to remedy their losses on their own because the FDIC was not required and not willing to bail them out. In 1999, Glass-Steagall was repealed under President Clinton. And once it was repealed, all of the regulations ended. Unregulated, both commercial and investment banks gambled in derivatives, etc., and lost trillions of dollars. In 2008, the U.S. government, since 2008, the U.S. government has paid back over $5 trillion to the Bank of England to bail out and keep open these continually gambling banks. For that $5 trillion, the citizens of the United States got nothing. Nothing was built like the TVA, and no jobs were created. That $5 billion paid off a gambling debt owed to the Bank of England only. We got nothing out of it. And it's still going on. The Federal Reserve is printing $85 billion a month. They're printing money that is not backed by gold or anything else. July 21st, 2010, President Obama signed the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act into law. Under Dodd-Frank's Title II, the FTC has been given power to seize the depositor's money to pay off creditors. Now, this is very similar to what just happened to my supplemental retirement fund in Social Security when the government seized my money, your money, to pay for Obamacare. It's the same thing, only different. In December last year, December 10th, a planned agreement was signed between the FDIC and the Bank of England. To do what? To seize depositors' money to bail in failing banks. Now, what does that mean? A bail-in means that the depositors now become the owners of the bank, and they are given shares in the bank instead of their money. People, this is a reality, and it's ready to happen. It's already been signed into law. We have to get Glass-Steagall passed now. Glass-Steagall stops the takeovers and the bail-in planned by the FDIC and the Bank of England. Glass-Steagall, which is also known as, and it worked for 66 years, Glass-Steagall is also known as the return to prudent banking. It is before Congress now. It's in the Senate as S 985 and in the House as HR 129. And it is also at the Massachusetts State House as a resolution urging Congress to reinstate Glass-Steagall. Now, after this meeting, I pray to God that all of you call your senators and representatives and tell them to pass Glass-Steagall now. And I have a form for Senator Warren. She promised that she supported Glass-Steagall when she ran, and now I talked to her personally face to face, and she's thinking about modifying it to make it better. Well, listen, Dodd-Frank was the modification. That's how they sold it to the congressman. It was 800 pages long. The congressman didn't want to read it. They didn't know what it was. Wall Street spent over $29.5 million in lobbyists to go down and convince our legislators in Washington, D.C. that Dodd-Frank was only a modification and good for the country. We have to act now. I urge you here tonight that we must vote for the town of Millbury, big town of Millbury, to send a letter of resolution to the president and all of our elected legislators to reinstate Glass-Steagall now. Bankrupting our families in our country to pay the gambling debts to the Bank of England is not an option. I plead with you to pass this resolution now for the town. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Rajat?
Donald Drayjot, 36 Lincoln Ave Extension. I remember when I was in high school, the teacher said we have controls, and they took them away. And I'm for this. And the reason they're saying they don't want to vote on it tonight is because we don't represent all the town. Well, I'm sorry. Like I said at the last meeting, when the people don't show up, they give you the right to vote for all of them. I'm here and you're here. We should vote. and I'm for this myself.
Mrs. Lewandowski?
Anna Lewandowski, 5 Howe Lane. I want to commend the people who had the energy to go out and get, this is a citizen's petition, by the way. It was brought up at the annual town meeting, and unfortunately it wasn't passed. So we could wait for another town meeting, but in the meantime, the economy doesn't wait for us. Unfortunately, we keep decrying the economy, but we do nothing to try to help alleviate it. In fact, I can recall reading in the current Chronicle, the town manager commenting about the economy and how it was affecting the town. Passing the article will not make the problem, but it is a step in the right direction. It doesn't involve money. We passed money at the town meeting like with water, and we had no qualms about it. But it is a step in the right direction, and I think Ms. Burke Dodson did an excellent job explaining exactly what it is. Many of us cry about the economy. Well, it's affecting us, it's affecting our Social Security, it's affecting our medical, and we don't know what to do about it. Well, this is a step in the right direction. I think if we defeat the Finance Committee's recommendation and go ahead and just ask them to send a letter, what have we got to lose? We have nothing to lose by it, and individually, if you want to send your own letters, do so. Send your emails, send your text messages, or whatever. But in the meantime, maybe the fact that it comes from the town itself has a little bit more of an emphasis, and it may at least get looked at. But I think it's something that we should consider and take care into consideration. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Lukovich?
As we discussed at the last town meeting,
Name and address, please.
Alan Linkovich, 65 Canal Street. As we discussed at the last town meeting, it really isn't our jurisdiction. You can send all the form letters you like to your congressmen, your representatives, and what they do is throw them away. If you're going to do this effectively, you're at least going to have to do a good letter writing campaign or something to that effect. And I don't believe that our small representation tonight fully represents the town of Millbury. I would think that if these people want to do this properly, make it a valid question. Then it can properly represent the town of Millbury.
All right, I think you're ready to vote. The motion before us is for indefinite postponement by the Finance Committee. If you agree with them and we should take no further action, you vote yes. If you agree with the petitioners, you will vote no, and I will recognize Ms. Dotson to come up and make a motion. All those in favor of indefinite postponement, please raise your cards. Those opposed? The nays have it. Ms. Dotson, do you have a written motion to present to me? The motion will be, I move to have this article number 7 of the special town meeting of June 18th be accepted as written. Is there a second? All those in favor? Those opposed? The motion carries. Before we adjourn,